Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. Of course, we're going to be talking about comic books a little bit. We're also going to be talking here to George Gatsis, and he's got his new Indiegogo going on, Joe King, and we're going to be having a little bit of a launch party here for him. How you doing today, George?
Doing wonderful. How are you? It is such a wonderful Sunday.
It is a nice Monday for me, and I'm sitting on a very sunny day with a cup of coffee, a hot cup of coffee. So I'm a happy man as usual, sitting here talking to a friend. So that's
Oh,
always fun.
I keep forgetting you're on the other side of the world.
Literally, quite literally, yeah. But it's fine. It's beginning of my work week, of course, and Monday is a very busy day for me, as it is for most any other person on a Monday. But I do have a little bit of my morning time here to do my YouTube, and that's always good. But I know that for most of the listeners we have, we are definitely going to be communicating to them on their Sunday. And a Sunday is usually for
Yeah.
barbecues and other things like that. We got Eric in here, Eric Delavan. Hello, Eric. How you doing, man? Nice to have you here. And of course, this is Sunday, so people will lazily come in along the way. But just keep in mind that as you do, please hit that share button and let everybody know what's going on. I'd love to have them involved with we're doing here today. And thank you all for coming. Keep in mind that we have links down below. Those links, of course, for my Facebook and Twitter. You can get in contact with me and tell me, Chester, I want to be on the show, and we'll put you on here. This is FanSpeak, of course. We want to have the fans come in and have their opinion. You can also contact me through those contact points for being on the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered. You also could try to get a hold of Pixel Trader as well, but it's probably a little bit easier to go through me. And we have a couple other links down there we'd love you to take a look at as well. But first thing, George, that I want to get into before we get into your Indiegogo and a couple of news points I got today, and I have a couple comics I want to talk about as well. We got a lot of different things we're going to do today. It'll be quite varied. But the first thing I want to do is I
Oh,
want to get into a little bit of, well, sad news, really. Let's get right into it. Now, we know,
oh,
let me come over here and share with you as well so you can see what I'm doing. But we know that we've had some problems with very weird, strange, nasty, mean people wanting to cause trouble. And we have Peter Simeti was swatted, they call it. It's kind of amazing that it's actually a thing, but he got swatted, which means that somebody called the cops and said there was some major, major horrible thing happening at this address, and of course the police send over in force to be able to prepare to deal with it, and as they should. But of course, the dangers of that is depending on how the person responds, fear, what have you, can cause police to overreact. For the most part, most police are pretty good, but we do get certain police that are. They hire for a specific reason. They want someone who's going to be part of the group, who's going to be part of the brotherhood, who can be loyal, right? And sometimes that brings up people who are a little bit jumpy or trigger happy, as it can be. That's not what the police want, but it does result in that sometimes, and therefore people can get shot, get hurt, and it's none of their fault. It's a very mean-spirited thing to do. It's a hateful thing to do, and I really hope that the people who do this, who get caught, which I understand it's difficult to actually catch them, and depending on how smart they are, get prosecuted to the full extent of the law because that's nonsense. I don't care what side of what political spectrum I'm on. You don't do that. You don't put people in harm's way simply because you don't like them. That is nonsense, right? And of course, we saw this happen to Peter Cimenti recently, and Peter was fine. Now they went and did it to, it looks like they did to Edwin not once, but twice. But the problem is, of course, Hawaii is a small place. I lived there myself. I worked in the government and dealt with the police myself. They are extremely professional and extremely tight. If you are a normal part of the community, especially if you're part of some kind of business or company, the police know who you are anyway. It's a very small town feel in Honolulu, right? So, assuming that they don't, that Edwin doesn't know the cops anyway is kind of stupid. I mean, of course he does, right? And I'm making that
yeah.
assumption without even talking to him,
Yeah.
right? And of course, we see through
No,
here some of
no,
these Twitter. Yeah, go ahead, George.
the man's military.
Of course,
Like
yeah,
the man's military.
yeah.
You know, he knows his stuff. He knows his people.
Yes, he does. So it's not like this is going to have any effect anyway. They automatically know, and they're going to come over and be very professional and respectful to Edwin. So there was no threat of any of the dangers that can come out of this swatting happening anyway. But nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that they did it once, but not only once, but twice, right? Because can't stand that Edwin, can't stand him. Right? For what reason? Guy's he's boisterous. He gets out there and he gets on the internet, likes bang heads. I mean, yeah, sure. But Edwin's not hurting anyone. He's not doing anything to you. It's just hate, right? But
That's right. Yeah.
I just want to look at his Twitter page real quick here and see what's going on. So it seems here very just recently, just I mean his most recent tweet, he's kind of gotten back to it. He's talking about Captain Marvel, as everybody is. I mean, you can't get away from it. It's everywhere on the internet every day. Jean Luc is over here, and he's has some tweet giving some support. I think he's retweeting Ethan's tweet that was in support of Edwin that we all saw. Just getting some support from people, and Edwin making comments. And there's that Ethan. Oh, Ethan sent his own one. Okay. And of course, we know Edwin is very religious. He and Mike get on the show, and they do their Bible study show every week. So it's we know about Edwin, and the chaplain actually and the police actually gave him a challenge token, which is pretty cool actually. But as we see, he does mention some things here, which is some of the there is a circular chain of logic where normal people get called Nazis for pointing out the evil and inhumane tactics of trying to coerce people with shame and violence. 1. Punch Nazis. 2. Call normal people Nazis. 3. When other people complain this is irrational, suggest they are Nazis. 4. Ask them if they want to get punched also. 5. Go to step 1. Yeah, well, it's kind of is what they do. And we see him down here. He's actually starting to talk about the swatting incident that happened. And of course, how does he respond? Well, as he always responds, you know, if you get angry on my behalf, please don't say or communicate anything that could harm or negatively impact you. Speak with clarity and compassion. Very typical Edwin thing to say, right? So, and here's a
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's a police report, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to cover this first off because this seems to be something they're not having any success slowing us down because we're making money on the Indiegogos and stuff. And I suggest, and we're going to be talking about George's Indiegogo here in momentarily, but I suggest, as always, go and support the Indiegogos. Go to Indiecron. Pixel Traders Indicron, go in there, look at those comics, see things you like, and back it. I'm not telling you to buy stuff you don't want to buy. We're not a bunch of SJW progressives that support things blindly. We're not sheep, but back what you want and support in every way you can because this is what we're trying to grow, and they can't stand it. And every penny you throw into Indicron, meaning the books that are listed there for Indiegogo, is what is bringing them to these tactics, right? Because they're losing. There's a lot of money being going on over here. We're having fun without them, and they can't stand that we're not the center of their focus, right? And this is why they're doing these things, and they're going to keep doing it, right? And we need to keep doing what we're doing. I usually don't sit here and talk about politics or preach about things on this channel because I want this to be for everybody, and I just want to have fun with comic books. But damn it, get into Indicron and support a book. I don't care which one, whatever one you like. Go buy a book because this is part of the fight back is to support the books that are coming out through this community, to put your money where your mouth is, right? That's what this is about. And yeah, I just wanted to start with this, and I just you know it's disgusting.
I can hear the passion in your voice. I can hear the passion in your voice. You said both statements here. It is a passion. It is capitalism at its core. People create, and they put it out there, and if people like it, they support it. If they don't like it, they don't support it.
Yeah.
We're not preaching or pushing any ideology. We're just preaching entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
We want to entertain you, and you, the audience, you tell us. You tell us with your pocketbook. You tell us with your support, your donations, and your purchases. What entertains you, and that's what we're here as creators. the entirety of Comicsgate and everybody in IndieCon who is listed there. We are entertainers who want to entertain you, and the support that we get from you is a blessing. Every little bit of support is a blessing.
It is. But it is also a battle. Now I realize not everybody wants to be on the front lines of that battle, because there is a cultural war going on. Don't you think anything other than that is true? Because there is a cultural war going on for the minds and futures of your children. That's what's happening, and it's no joke, right? Now, not all of us are on that front line. A lot of us stay back off that front line. Edwin here is a front line soldier. He's a soldier from a young age. He's a soldier in mind and body, and he is a soldier forever. It's what he is. So for him to take up a fight for something he believes in and stand on the front ground and fight for that is something that is natural to him. It doesn't have to be natural for everyone, and therefore I really like the aspect of this community because you don't need to be on Twitter or whatever banging heads with these idiots. You can support it simply by putting your money down and supporting these projects, and helping people. Like I said, I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm just telling you to support this fight, as it continues on, because it's not. And as you can see, they're not slowing down. They're not going to back up. They're going to keep doing what they're doing, and we need to too. And I think the problem is a lot of us we're just normal people, whereas they're abnormal. But we need to be, you know, tenacious in our support of what is right and wrong, and not allow them win simply through a matter of attrition. You know what I mean? Valen says here, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. Very well said. And the Willie Mammoth is here, and he says, "Through the snow, a mammoth appears." Hello, friends. Hello to you, Willie. And Dennis Brock is in here. He says, "Well
Greetings.
said." And share these comics with your friends. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, because it is all about comic books for us, right? But I mean, if you pay attention to any of the guests we've had over the past 6 months, and we've been done our best to bring in every kind of guest you can imagine, right? From the pro to the amateur, from the artist to the writer to the letterer or what have you, that has to do with comic books. And over that time, one thing that we certainly learned, is that there are a lot of people who are passionate about comic books, and we've also learned during this time that this assault that's coming is not just here; it's everywhere. We all remember GamerGate. What about Board Game Gate? Because that's going on. What about Anime Gate that's just happening right now? What about the NFL? What about everything that any man would want to enjoy? Not saying women don't like it too, because they do. But anything that a man particularly likes, they are attacking. It is under assault. Every single thing, even darts in Britain. I mean, what darts is under attack? Toilets are under attack. They don't think you should be able to stand up and use your urinal, men, as if they know anything about using urinals. So what did they do when they lost that fight? Because they tried to in certain places like Sweden, they tried to make urinals illegal, and they're trying to make all the men sit down on the toilet. They literally tried this. I'm not kidding. The insanity is true. So they lost that battle. So what are they doing now? They have created these weird little cup funnels that women could put in their pants and stand up and piss like a man. This is their response. This is the insanity of these people, right? And it's everywhere, everywhere. So,
Well,
FanSpeak.
not only that, but uh, there's one thing that really caught my eye is that there's in Sweden, I believe it is,
Hmm.
the ideology in Sweden of diversity, the illegal rape culture, and that kind of
Well, rape is illegal, I do believe.
that yes it is, but it's just simple common sense. It has gone out the door just to push an ideology, some crazy thoughts. It's an it's insane.
It is insane. Yeah. But like I said, I usually don't get on here and push the political side of these things very much because I mean I'll set have a joke at some of the things, but we don't usually do that here. But I mean, come on, not only swatting Edwin once but twice, really, really. All right. Nevertheless, thank you guys all for coming. Please go and hit that share button and let everyone and your family and your friends and your community know we're over here. I know there are a couple of streams going on, but there always are. But here's the thing about FanSpeak: we are always on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're always on time. We have not budged from that. We have been that way for a solid 6+ months. We're not going to change. So I do apologize that there are other interesting things going on, especially with Cross Comics and his junior auction, which is a cool idea. We just saw Mike's auction go for his original Comicsgate Alliance poster went for what over $3,000, right? In the community, so that was
3650.
yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Yes,
Yeah, it is cool.
it was a wonderful sight to see.
And it's cool. It's nice to see Rick over there trying to do different things, and of course he's emulating what Mike is doing. Same thing that Pixel did with the fan edition of Drone Recorder, but that's a good thing. We're all kind of joining up and being part of the same things that are going on. It's nice. But anyway, that said, it's done. Give Edwin here a little bit of love if you can. Send him a tweet, say chin up and stuff like that. But I'm sure he's fine, and this is not the first time he's been attacked. Although it seems this swatting thing is going on. I do find it interesting, George, because we see this isn't like I said. It's not just here. We see this going across all communities. But the funny thing is, then they'll come up and they'll fake swats on themselves and cry victim. They're the ones swatting others, but then they'll say, "Oh, I got swatted," because they want to get the attention as well, right? And of course, it's proven not to be true, right? But it's amazing. But let's move
Yes,
over here.
the epidemic. It's an epidemic of fake news.
It is, yeah. But I mean, the interesting thing with the fake news, though, I mean, that's a slightly different topic. But of course, it's become a mainstay, comment because Trump used it, and there's other people have used it. He's not the one that started it, of course. But fake news has been going on from before I was born. The media has always been a weapon of propaganda. This is nothing new. I think it's just with the social media, it allows fact checking so quickly that these channels can be embarrassed by their fake news instead of being given the opportunity to put a retraction at the last page of the newspaper, as it were. So I think that's what's making a difference because fake news is not new at all. And of course, the ones who have been exposed the most are most of the liberal media, but in particular CNN. But you don't really need anyone to tell you it's fake news. Just spend 5 minutes on CNN and you know that. Those people are out of their mind. And I understand the counter argument that Fox News is all propaganda too. It is. You're right. But it's far more sensible propaganda, isn't it? It's far more straightforward. I could even say honest propaganda. But media is media, I guess. Let's move on though. And first thing we want to talk about here today, of course, is Indicron. It's a sponsor of FanSpeak and all the things we do. Pixel Trader, of course, is our man, and he's been here since the beginning, a founding member of FanSpeak. He actually helped me learn all this tech and get everything done. This channel owes everything to Pixel, and we're really happy to work with him. And I'm really proud and happy for him with how Indicron is growing and what it's becoming. It's really cool to see this, and I recognized this from day one, even before I started this channel, that this was something that was important, and it is growing into being that. So I'm really happy for Pixel. And of course, today we're going to be looking at George's book. So let's come down here and find it. Just go to funding, it'll be quicker. Here we go. He just launched it, so it's brand new. And all right, here's his Indicron page. It's kind of nice. I like what Pixel has done with this. Joe King versus world's greatest average hero. All right. And he's got his picture here. He's got his information. Everything is clickable, which is kind of cool. Let's just take a quick look at George's page. I hope you put one up. You haven't done it yet. You have to do it.
I've been working on it.
Yes, I
It's
put
just
mine up.
so hard.
It is hard to talk
Yes, you
about
did.
yourself. Yeah, you helped me.
Can we review yours? Because I find yours incredibly fascinating. Can we
Well,
just take a break and go
you
to
find it
yours?
fascinating, yeah, because you helped me write it. All right, let me go find it
Well,
here.
I'm trying.
No,
I'm
no,
trying to
it
be
is funny.
humble, but
It is funny. Yeah. Now I get it. 'Cause the problem is,
I want
George,
the world to know.
how do you write about yourself? How do you make a bio for yourself? That's I write things all the time, but I went to do that and I was like, without words, I didn't know what to do. It's weird writing about yourself. It's odd. And it's the first time I think I've ever done
That's
that.
the
Oh, here I
problem I'm
am.
having. That's why it's taking me so long.
Ooh, here I am.
That's a
So,
wonderful illustration.
oh, yes, it is. It's very nice. The illustration itself is from John Dillard, and the art is from J-Pot Studios. I think they did a really great job of that. It's wonderful.
Very nice.
Yeah, and it looks a lot like me too. I think I'm a bit prettier and a little bit smilier than this. Thank you very much, John Dillard, you bastard. But it is what it is. He's even got my, yeah, he's even got my pipe. He actually asked. I actually showed him my pipe for reference because I'm usually sitting here smoking on a pipe. I know I'm weird and old-fashioned dude. Sorry, but I smoke a pipe all the time, and I showed him the pipe, right? And my pipe is a briarwood, is a rough cut briarwood pipe. Right, meaning that it's made of really good wood. For using on a pipe, and it's very rough cut, so it has nice grains and knots and stuff like that in the top. And what does he do? He goes and puts a standard English pipe in my mouth. God,
Oh
unbelievable,
no,
John.
accuracy,
I know.
accuracy.
I showed it to him too.
Oh,
All right.
that's just crazy.
Hey, we're over 4,000 on the Tales from Beyond the Gate. Sweet. Um, but here,
Congratulations.
this is
Let, let, let me read this. Let me
okay.
read this because
Is it going to be
I
dynamic?
want to read this.
It's got to be
It's going to be
dynamic. All
dynamic.
right, it's going to be dynamic, guys. Here we go.
Okay. George's dynamic reading of Chester's bio.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Chester Chester is the heavy-headed manager, one of the writers of Tales from Beyond the Gate anthology. To artist brushstrokes, and woe thee who has to translate Chester's words onto the page. So, if you need someone to bust down the door and collect debts, Chester's your man. Insert mugshot here.
You know, the funny thing about it was, Pixel actually contacted me back laughing, and he's like, "Dude, do you want? Am I supposed to put a mugshot in there?" They said, "Well, we could. It could be funny." I just thought it was funny to put it in because it's such a rough little bio. But I think it's funny though. It's comical as it should be. Yeah, it was. I'm glad it went. We went this way with it because I was really struggling on how to talk about myself, you know, in a fun way. But I think this is perfect. It's funny. Yeah, I got it done, Pixel. It's done. All right. But anyway, let's go back over here because we're not here for this. We are here to talk about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the Indiegogo page. Look at that. We can come right to the page itself, see all the information, check out various points. And of course, you need to get in here, George, and put those points in. And of course, we can just click right here and boom, just go right over the Indiegogo itself. It's very, very cool. All right. Everyone's talking about.
We have Booster in the audience.
Oh, God. Oh, well. It was going so well.
Oh, he's he muted himself. I think he's being respectful.
Is he being respectful or is he playing a video game? I'm not sure.
I was being nice, but now you can screw off.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now I feel much better. My day is complete, Booster.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Booster, we're in here. We're talking about George's launch here on his Indiegogo, brand new thing. And
Awesome.
yeah, no, it's cool. We got a couple comics we talk about, and we got a couple pieces of news too. Interesting news. Everyone's complaining to me that they are doing multiple streams at once, and I do apologize for that. But all the rest of those people can get their own time. This is my time.
Yeah. This is ours. They
I'll
can
fight 'em
screw
for it,
off
too.
even more.
They can screw off even more. Yeah.
We'll beat them up.
Yep.
I'll
I'll
take
fight
'em.
him for
I'm
it,
scrappy.
and I guarantee you I'd win too. Especially knowing the competition. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so George, tell us about it, man.
Phil King, the world's greatest average hero. It's of a team of a large group of misfits brought together to take on missions too trivial for real space detectives. But since this is here on FanSpeak, I'm going to tell you a little bit more of the stories. The characters themselves have come across something unusual in their part of the woods, being in the universe. And when they were investigating a series of planets, they discovered these planets were actually running away for some reason. And as they're investigating away, they discovered there is an insidious attack in the universe that started from the dawn of time, from the Big Bang, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And our characters are stuck out there in the middle of nowhere, unable to go home, because if they go home, they'll create a paradox. And that's a little bit more involved in terms of what I'm going to tell you, but they can't go home. And the only way to save the universe is to take on the challenge head on. And right now, they're all alone, going after giant rocks who literally destroy planets at a whim and then just move on. Now, the beauty of this is that I finally put up the character list of the characters that appear in this particular episode. Almost like the Love Boat, when you have a list of characters pop up in the credits, characters popping up in this story.
Okay.
And I see you're
just to
clicking
let you know,
here.
George, you are roboting pretty badly, dude.
I am? Oh, right, and I'll listen. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if I can tell the story, but I do. Maybe it'd be better to ask questions and have you respond. Maybe that would be clearer. I am just going through the art here at the top, and it's kind of interesting how you put all these pictures in, and there's a little story below it. It's kind of leading us along. That's a good idea, actually. Now, looking at the major bit of the site here, it's pretty well set up, by the way. I actually kind of would like to get some ideas from you how to make the Tales from Beyond the Gate page look even better. I think it's got a lot of cool art, and it's got everything set up as it should. But it would be cool to even look, just tighter and cooler. And you look like you know how to set this up really well. So we should talk about that later. But now this, of course, is called Joe King, meaning joking. And you have an actual story that's going on, right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
I am just answering yes
No,
or no.
no, you go.
No, you go.
You first,
Okay,
man.
fine.
All right. Anyway, but the thing, what my question is, you have an actual story going on here, cool. But you have comedy throughout, or is it situational comedy, or is it, kind of like physical gags, or I mean, what kind of comedy style are you going for here? Because I mean, it's a comedy book, right?
Yes, it's a comedy book. And cool gags, situation comedy, and there's also in the book. And something that I did when I was doing a proofread through the thing, there's also tragedy and heartbreak in the story. I'm literally going from humor to heartbreak. From sometimes when you switch from one panel to the other, and it just done me after all these years, as I've been developing and writing all these stories, that this particular story in itself, the Joe King series of stories, is one of the 14 stories that I've written out, that it kind of breaks my heart sometimes when I actually move to the next panel, and I didn't realize it. Being home, personal experiences into the story.
I see.
It just.
All right, George. This is what you should do, George. Get off and come back in, dude. Because you're roboting way hard now, and I'm looking on my side and looking at the stuff on Streamlabs, and I'm fine. The stream from my point is clean. So it's
Okay.
coming from your side. So drop off and come back in and see if that can help that. Now,
Mhm.
Booster, we're sitting here and he says, your crew for this adventure. And he's got a bunch of characters listed. I kind of cool. I think it's a cool little idea, actually. Of course,
Mhm.
he's got Joe King. He's got some syntax error. I get
Mhm.
it. Mistake.
Mistake.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Uh, Criplet error. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
I'm not sure what criplet is. No.
Yeah, I get the first three jokes though. Amber, oh, that's not a joke. Captain Dupont. Okay, all right. What is that? Chef.
Mhm.
Ralph, female X, Slither King, Terracat, oldie, pork chop edition maybe. Gopherbot,
Pork chop Ed.
Pork chop Ed. Receptionist and the engine crew. So the first ones are making some kind of a word joke, puns as it were. And you love that kind of stuff. You're always making those kind of jokes.
Mhm.
You and DeWolf.
You old folks.
Oh goodness.
Uh,
So what do you think of this thing? What do you think of the art here and the concept?
he's got a lot of characters going on here.
He does.
I hope you can fit them all into one story. And I hope you don't mind, but your character design gives me a Sesame Street vibe. Is that what you're going for?
Well,
Yes, Sesame
Yeah.
Street. Everything that's good and wholesome and fun and funny.
Yeah.
Sesame Street, Warner Brothers. I'm touching upon everything I can.
now
Well,
you,
you're lucky I have a soft spot for Sesame Street, and I love Grover.
Now, this is a super bright, super colorful, super cartoony type style. Now, we know we've seen your art style before. Matter of fact, you just won the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered, actually. So this is a conscious choice to go with this very super bright, very almost child color book your book style of thing. How did you come to the decision to do that?
Oh, bright colors and everything. It's from my experience working at Nelvana over 20 years ago when I was doing marketing and branding for children's properties such as Babar, Redwall, Little Bear, even Card Captors, Metabots. They all had one thing in common. Everything was bright. Everything was happy.
Okay, so this is a kid's
If you want to
book.
go,
Your intention is for kids with
yes,
this.
go.
Oh,
Hmm.
awesome.
It, it's for kids. Kids can read this and get it, and adults can read this and come away with a different perspective.
So
It's
Looney
what
Tunes
Pixar
like.
does.
Hmm.
Oh, like Pixar. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
it's
sure.
what
That's
Pixar
cool.
does. Yeah. So
Okay,
you look at the same panel, you read the same thing, and adults get the hidden joke, while the kids get the standard joke.
I see. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, no, it's we've been talking about we've seen a few children's books like Hero, and of course Bigfoot Bill is a kid's book. And a couple others, and we're very supportive of more children's books because we want you need to get the young generation into comic books so that they'll be future fans, right? I mean, we want comics to continue, and that's one of the things that the big two have dropped the ball on is selling to kids. They have really doubled down on trying to sell to the collector and trying to keep their adult audience, or at least they think they're doing that. They have really dropped the ball on kids altogether. So having more kids books, I think is important. Actually, we want to support that, and a lot of us have kids
Hmm.
now. I'm a bit older, so my kids are a little bit older, so that this wouldn't be appropriate for them. But there are a lot of people here that got young kids, and we want to support them. We want to get them into it, and this is kind of cool. And I'm kind of curious. Um, Now I see what you're showing here in your for your various tiers and stuff. I'm kind of wondering if you might not want to have a coloring book in there somewhere, dude.
I've been thinking about it. It is a novel idea to have a coloring book in terms of here through the collective.
Yeah,
It's
particularly for
just that
this style though. I think it's perfect.
it is, but the way I've designed my work, it's more of an animation. So if you actually look at the panels,
Hmm.
the individual panels, you'll come off of it and say, wait a minute, isn't that a photograph in the background, or isn't that some sort of poster paint dabbed, non-detailed background, but the characters in the foreground are, nice black lines with color flowing through them, and I was thinking translating it into a color book, and that would be a challenge into itself, because right now it's like, wow, it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I may do it, but it's going to have to be something that will have to wait. Because right now, if you scroll up and you see that spaceship in front of the planet, I have to figure out some way to translate that planet into black and white.
They have. I've seen software that takes our pictures and stuff and turns them into black line work.
Yes, I've actually used some of that software when I'm constructing the artwork here, when I have the 3D props with the backgrounds and stuff. And it's, but to translate that nebula or that storm on that planet into black and white line art, I can appreciate the artwork a little more. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's
just
a skill set that
I think kids might like it.
No, it's a great suggestion. It's a great suggestion, and I'm seriously considering it.
Yeah, because a lot of the comedy that I've seen so far from you, it is very much situational, and it's certainly something that would make the kids have a chuckle and smile because they get it, right? It just seems to me to be very kid. And that's wonderful. I think that's great. And Booster, do you recognize this ship at all? It looks a little familiar.
It was a Starship Enterprise.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, do I get some of my nerd cred back?
Hardly. But that's cool, man. Now we were going through these names here. Now we saw Joe King, syntax error, get it? Mistake, ha ha ha. But we don't get this criplet error. I don't get that. These are word plays. Okay, I understand. What's this one?
It is. Okay, the error, the actual error word is emergency repair robot operating remote, and criplet is a tragic character. His name is he's crippled.
Huh.
So he's a sidekick of a sidekick.
Oh, I get it.
The criplet is the sidekick.
So we'd have to see him in story to get it. I get it. Okay. So
that's fine, yeah.
Do you have other characters here that are representing things? Because I know you showed me some stuff earlier that you did for the helmet safety is basically what it was. You were working with those groups that went into hospitals and the schools and stuff like that for a little kind of cute book about a dinosaur to help promote the idea with kids to wear your helmet. And that's, of course, great things, and you do that kind of work. Now, I'm kind of wondering here with having the representative of a crippled kid, do you have other type of things in here to specifically identify with kids that have certain troubles?
And I was just gonna say, do you think that calling the crippled one cripplet might be a bit in poor taste? I know I'm not the one to judge in taste.
Well, the thing is, you don't realize the character is actually crippled because he holds his own in the story. It's only when you have those heartfelt moments that you actually realize, the tragedy of the character. And there's personal moments in the book, and that's where you actually get to know the underpinning of the characters from the humor.
I see. Do you have other characters though that are representing kids in different situations of trouble, like a child with cancer or things like that?
Yes. Right now, if you hold onto the screen, Female X is about amnesia. Slither King is a doctor who is so good at her work that she just practices blindfold. Chef is an engineer who dreams of becoming a culinary chef, except that he's really not good at cooking. He always sprinkles his meals with lug nuts and machine oil. Terracat is an orphan. Oldie is the oldest of all the characters. He has left the Earth millions of years ago to discover why his race is going to go extinct and try to prevent the dinosaurs from going extinct. Mm-hmm. Gopherbot is your underdog. The Gopherbot characters are the characters that are always constantly being bullied by everybody else.
I see.
Even though they step up and they save the day in some places, in some cases. The Captain DuPont, he's just but lazy. Amber is your intern who always takes over the captain spot because no one else wants to be captain because the captain's always trying to find reasons not to be captain.
Okay.
So everybody has
a quirk,
their own little quirk. Syntax always tries to, he specializes in repairing things, but nothing ever goes right. And Mistake is actually cursed with a genie curse.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So she'll grant your wish, except it just will never go well, and no one really wants to talk to her because they don't want to say the word wish around her.
Of course, that makes sense. Yeah. Now I see you have a figurine here, and I know that you do 3D printing and such. So, excuse me. Are you planning on doing other figurines? This is something you got to do yourself, right? Because it's one of the things you do. You were helping us design a ring actually for the gatekeepers, which I thought was really cool. Are you planning other figurines, or is this or miniature, as we'd probably call it, or are you just this one?
No. There'll be an entire series of figurines. There's one figurine with one of the characters called the Toaster, and he's basically the engine or the battery that powers the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to drink espressos dabbled with a little plutonium, just nice. To keep himself perked.
As you do. Yeah.
That's right. But yes, there will be other characters. Right now, since Joe King is the signature character, I'm going to start off with him.
Cool.
And work my way to everybody else. Oh, and one character that his name is Pork Chop Ed.
Yeah.
He is very childlike, and he doesn't know where he fits in. He's the master of disguise. He always wants the approval of his peers. But he just doesn't feel that he has an identity. He doesn't know who he is in all the scheme of things. He just runs around doing things, but like a child, trying to figure themselves out, who they are, what's their stamp in life, what are they going to do when they grow up. Pork Chop Ed's exactly that.
Now, I'm looking at all these characters here, and I see Pork Chop Ed here in the front. I'm kind of pointing with a mouse at, but I see all these different characters, kind of cool. But there is this one female down here, Terra Cat. She's a bit sexy, I think.
Yeah, she is. She's the orphan. She's the one that was abandoned at a young age, and she makes the appearance in the story, and it's a subtle. Her story is very subtle. Mm-hmm. In the future books, her story will be prominent.
I see. Well, write that down, Booster. If you're an orphan, be sexy to be successful. Sexy for successful. Write that down.
I will get right to that.
Okay. All right. Sweet. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, I see you have all these perk tiers and everything like that. You decided not to go the featured tier. You got a plan to maybe change that in the future, or?
I don't know what to. I don't know what people would like. I mean, I've given everybody as many options as possible. Mm-hmm. For everybody's, monetary, ease, for monetary easiness. Would you like just the raw, fast-paced story? Mm-hmm. There's a 32-page book. Would you like the extended story? It's like the extended edition for Lord of the Rings. Instead of watching 2 hours of it or 2.5 hours, you might as well watch all 4 hours of it. but of course that's a little pricier, but it's cheaper. It's the price of 132-page book.
Mm-hmm.
It's you get 3 full books for the price of 2 books.
Sure, no, I get it, and I see you have an early bird special, which is I don't know if I've noticed anyone in the community using the early bird special. That is something that became quite popular on Kickstarter, and it's like it's part of the the landscape of Kickstarter is the early bird special, which is quite controversial to be honest with you, because some people will say that it's not fair. And other people say that it's good marketing. It's one of those things that has been argued about for I don't know, 10 years, a long time. He's a fellow Canadian. Yes, he
Well,
is, and I have yet to chastise him for being Canadian yet. I think I'll have to get that at a future point.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
well, the reason why I did the early bird special is I think, you know what, I might as well cut the price down as much as possible and allow the first people in to have a cheaper price for definitely, and it will be a challenge. It's not that it's a challenge to deliver the product or a challenge to put it in the mail. It's just a thank you. A thank you
Mhm.
for jumping on board as quickly as you have done so. And I think I see it another way. Early bird gets the worm.
Yep.
I mean, it's a tell true sign of just capitalism, rolling up your sleeves and actually getting the job done. It's the core essence of a lot of our characters. A lot of people may not see this, but when you're getting up and going to work, or getting up and drawing the story, or getting up and writing the story, you know, that spark of passion, that's effort is in sense the early bird effort, where you wake up and you just do it.
Yeah, no, I personally like the early bird special aspect of crowdfunding, but I'm just it is an interesting topic that has been argued for, like I said, 10 years. But I
I
always liked
too
it.
enjoy an early bird special.
Yeah. Of course, yours is probably different, what you're talking about, and it was probably while you were dreaming. But nevertheless, good dreams are always helpful.
Mm,
Mhm,
mm, mm,
mhm,
mm, mm, mm,
Also,
mm.
in terms of, I also underneath the little images
mhm.
at the top, the little captions actually give you a hint of some
Yes,
of the
no,
story elements.
I was talking about that as earlier. It's got little dialogue here. It's cool.
Yeah,
It
so
is
you'll get a
interesting.
hint of the different story elements that happen throughout the book.
Yeah, no, I think it was a good idea. I like it, and maybe for future projects, I'll keep that in mind to maybe do that in a very storytelling way. I think it's a clever use. I haven't seen anyone do that yet. That's cool. But anyway, guys, so if this looks interesting to you, if you got kids, you have friends with kids, or you're just interested in yourself, it's a very colorful book. Go over there and check this out and support George if you can. It's I think it's a fun looking project. And like I said, it's always nice to see projects that are out there to support the kids and try to get the younger generation into comic books. And some little fun, cute character like this who's very Superman-esque but furry and blue is,
Mm,
I think, cute. Yeah. Thank you very much, George. And we'll come back to this again and show it one last time at the end. But let's move over to our stories, news that we have for today. And then we will do a couple comic books that Booster and I are reading this week. So Benedict Yates said, "You should have known by the accent." Yeah, you should have. Benedict Yates
mm,
says, "Is that mistake from the Steam game Marvelous Mistake?" I don't think so. All right. Let's get into these stories here now. Matthew Vaughn confirms Kingsman 3 coming after prequel. Now, they've had the
mm.
first Kingsman, which was a lightning in a bottle type of success. It was great. Then they had the second one, which wasn't as good. Then they're coming out with a prequel here soon. And then they've also confirmed they're going to be doing actually a third sequel. So this would be the fourth Kingsman.
Mm, bloody hell.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Booster? Are you interested in more Kingsman? I mean, even the prequel. Are you interested
I
in it?
mean, Well, no, I didn't even see the second one. I didn't bother. I thought the first one was, it was all right. It was fun.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was as great as people were making it out to be, but I thought it was a cool movie, nonetheless. But no, I'm not interested in it as a series. It should have just been its own one movie, one
Yeah.
and done, baby.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
I,
enough. How about you, George? You into the Kingsman?
I see it differently. The Kingsman is something like a James Bond, and I look forward to the different gags that they bring out. Every James Bond that came out, I enjoyed the movies. I enjoyed the novelty of the gags that they brought out,
Hmm.
and I see the Kingsman as such. And I look forward to everything to do with the Kingsman. It looks like stories of variety. While the characters are similar,
Hmm.
they evolve, but there's a lot of variety in the first two movies, and that's wonderful. So you're really not getting the same stamp every time.
Well, I think for Booster, it's a little bit different. He's much younger than we are. Therefore, he didn't grow up with Sean Connery and Roger Moore and the original, 007s, which had a lot of gadgets and there was kind of the fun, cool thing about it. And that's one of the things I really don't like about the new James Bonds. I mean, they're as far as movies goes, they're fine, but they're not James Bond, man. I mean, where's all the gadgets and where's all that fun, schlock? It's missing. They've really decided to make a very serious movie. It's very realistic, James Bond, brr. And all right, but it's not cool, man. James Bond was cool because of all that schlock. I mean, that was the whole point of it, right? And I think the thing that Kingsman is tapping into is people's desire to see that again because Kingsman is pure schlock. I mean, it's double dosing of it, right? And I think that's they just hit a vein of people missing James Bond because we haven't had a real James Bond in many, many, many years. Not really. And I'm not saying those movies can't be great on their own. I'm just saying they're not the fun, schlocky James Bond. They're not. And I thought the first one was wonderful. I loved it, especially who was the dude that they killed at the where Samuel L. Jackson shot him in the head? Who was that character's name? What's that guy's name?
Oh
Well,
gosh,
Say I usually
yes.
have Denali for these things, but the chat will help me, I'm sure. But that dude, he stole the show because the dude they have is the lead, the one here you see in this picture is trying to get it through the thing. He kind of sucks. He's not cool at all.
Colin Firth, Harry Hart.
Yeah, Colin Firth was amazing, and he's amazing in everything he does. That guy's really cool. I loved
Hmm.
him in the first one. This kid cannot carry the series is the problem. They thought he could, but Colin Firth
Mm.
made that movie. And the second one, he was, wasn't until the very end we got him back, and then they took his teeth out, which is not the way you do that. They should have never killed him in the first one. On the first one, to be honest with you. But yeah, the second movie wasn't as good. I'm not really looking forward to more Kingsman at all. But I don't know. I just went on quite a bit of spiel there. Does anyone have a response to that?
I just thought the
I
way he
see the
died
King,
was very funny.
I
With
see the
Samuel L. Jackson going, "That's what killing's like. That's awful."
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
I see the Kingsman as a young teenage James Bond. That's what I see it as.
Oh, with this
Hmm.
kid.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And if it's not this kid, it's the next kid that takes over the mantle.
yeah. It's just that kid's no good. I don't know the actor's name, but he was completely irritant in that original movie. He's unnecessary. He has no charisma. He's not. No, no, no. Colin Firth made that movie completely, 100%. That one scene, I mean, they had many good scenes in the first one, but that one scene where he's in that church was ridiculously awesome. It's one of the best scenes of all time, in my opinion, in any movie. That was a wonderfully cool scene, great scene. But anyway, I just put it up here. I went digging around, and I thought let's talk about Kingsman a little bit because I don't think we've ever talked about the Kingsman on this show. So.
Mhm.
Um, Benedict Gates says the Secret Service would have ended a lot different if Firth ended up in a temple full of Shaolin monks. It might have been even cooler. But I just loved that scene. It was everyone did. It's kind of like the scene from the Once and Future Past or wherever they called it, that X-Men movie where they had
Days of Future
Quicksilver.
Past.
Days of Future Past. They had
Yeah.
Quicksilver. The rest of the movie was but that scene was amazing.
I could watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
I sometimes just bring it up on YouTube just to watch that one scene. Then I'm like, yep, I'm done. I've watched all of Days of Future Past, all I need to.
Yeah, and of course, one of the problems they ran into that with that series, I mean, the first class was a lot of fun. It was a nice
Hmm.
rebirth of X-Men. I thought they did a really good job with it. It was solid. The recasting of Xavier and Magneto were wonderful. I liked it. Right, but the problem is they really got focused on Jennifer Lawrence, and Jennifer Lawrence is not what you should be focusing on at all, especially
Hmm.
because she's Mystique, and especially because she's just not that interesting. I understand Hollywood keeps telling you you have to like Jennifer Lawrence. She's the thing. She's the main thing. She's not.
Hmm.
I've never seen her in any movie where she's interesting. She's capable. She's a capable actress, but she's not interesting at all. She's kind of like Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson is good in the background. She's really useful as a co-star or part of a story. But you put her in the front, she's just boring. She's not interesting. And Jennifer Lawrence is very similar, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion. And focusing so much on her, like the original stuff did with Wolverine, it didn't pay off as well, right? And I think she's really what killed it. And of course, you have all that behind the scenes stuff going on where she really doesn't want to have anything to do with it. She hates the stupid Mystique and the stupid this and that, what she says. And it's just, it ticks us off when we know the only reason that she's even famous is because she played Mystique, and then she's just disrespecting. It's kind of like Emma Watson and talking about Hermione and stuff. And it's all her nonsense. People said I'm bothy. Yeah, that's why you got the job in the beginning, and that's what made you a millionaire, you moron. But these people doing the things they do, it's outrageous. And Jennifer Lawrence really
Um,
killed that. So,
Imagine carrying being called bossy for so long. It's like, did you consider that maybe should be less of a C word?
well, I mean, they with Emma Watson in particular, they hired her because children can't act. Here's the thing,
Hmm.
now, there might be the rare kid or here or there that can. Like for instance, we just had the Umbrella Academy, and they had a young boy in there. I don't know how old he is, but he looks rather young. He's in his teens. He did a really good job in that role of playing a kid who is actually much older than he looks. I thought he did good. So you do come across some kids that have some acting ability a little bit, but in general, kids don't. They choose kids for roles based on their own personal character, who they are, right? And Emma Watson was chosen because she was a bossy little snot, right? That's what they picked her
Yeah.
for, and she was perfect
Mhm.
for it. She was perfect as Hermione, and she grew into the role, right?
I
And
was called much worse things when I was a kid.
well, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
they called me bossy. Oh,
Oh, and she get very upset about that, and it shows you that she is bossy by her very statement, you know.
mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was such a silly thing to say because that's what made you rich. That's what made you famous. What are you
Yep.
complaining? I mean, it's nonsense. But I've gotten way off topic here. Chester throws down. Yes,
I
Chester's
mean,
throwing down, I guess.
I could go into a whole spiel on how Harry Potter is overrated at this rate, but I think we need to move on
We
before
could.
I.
But to be
Yeah.
fair, I know it depends on the generation and stuff. But overall, Harry Potter is fun family movie. It's fun, and
I can't stand the character Harry Potter. I feel like he gets emotionally validated by everyone, yet does nothing.
well, you see, the problem with that is Harry's not the lead character. People always
Mm,
think is because he's called Harry Potter, but he's not. Rollins, when she wrote this, she wanted to tell the story of Hermione. That's what she wanted
mm,
to do, but she didn't have the balls, which I know she doesn't have them, but she didn't have the balls to just call it Hermione. And instead,
mm,
she called
mm.
it Harry Potter. I don't know why she did that because it's obvious that's what she wanted to do, and she should have. Why not? Right? But that's the thing. Harry Potter is not the main character. Hermione is. Harry Potter is never successful. You look in those movies, he's not a good wizard. He's not good at anything. Hermione always saves the day. Always. Ron is absolutely completely useless. Right?
Mm, mm.
It's always Hermione, and she just didn't
Oh
have the
bloody,
balls to name
bloody
her that.
hell!
Exactly.
Oh, oh bloody hell!
But the one thing about J.K. Rowling is she really had a good ideas of twisting magic and making it interesting and different. I think that's one of the reasons it was very popular. She was really good at that. But anyway, let's move on to more stupidity. All right. Now we know Shazam is coming out, and Captain Marvel is coming out here very shortly, actually. And we know all the controversy with Captain Marvel. And it doesn't get better. We just had Brie Larson come out the other day, yesterday, I think, or the day before, and with an interview from Fox. Of course, we know Fox and Disney are connected, and these days. And she basically was, well, of course, they say that Brie Larson, uh, made a more clear her point. She didn't. The interviewer did. All right, but nevertheless,
Mm.
saying, "Oh no, she didn't mean she didn't hate white people." Well, then why did she say it 3 times that she didn't hate white guys, but then go on to chastise white guys, right? So it's you're wasting your time. So I'm not going to get into Captain Marvel. We know that's a fiasco. The thing is down to what 40 around 40% of people who want to see the film. It's not a review, but the reviews
Mm.
coming out are very, very simple. The first half of the movie sucks. The second half of the movie is much better. The most interesting characters in the movie are the Skrull leader and the cat. And the CG is fantastic, as we would expect. That's what it is. It's kind of like Black Panther. It's like a five. It's a five movie, 5, 6 movie. That's it.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
expected, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was going to be anything other. But it's not a disaster. It's not a horrible movie. It's just meh. But the sad thing is no one has mentioned that Brie Larson is Captain Marvel is amazing and cool. Everyone's just saying that they really like that Skrull leader and the cat, and that's not a good thing, right? It's not.
What's so great about the cat? I have
I
to
don't know.
understand why people are going on about the bloody cat.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's going to be a watchable, fine movie, and I've said that from the beginning. The only controversy around this movie is because this stupid woman can't shut her mouth. That's it,
Mm.
right?
We
And
just said that she has zero. She is a black hole for charisma.
well, actually, she's almost negative charisma in some ways because when you see her in the trailers, for instance, you hate her more. Just because she's this nasty, snarky, yeah thing, and
Yeah.
that's not cool. That's not cool. You understand what a cool woman looks like? Go look at Sigourney Weaver in the Alien movies. That's cool,
Yeah,
right?
that's a cool woman.
That's a cool woman.
But Chester, that's just a male's idea of what female empowerment is.
Yeah, whatever. It's my money. You want it? Show me what I want. Otherwise, go to hell. Right? It's
So,
my
what is
money.
Zachary Livy saying?
Okay, well,
Because
Zachary
I want
Levy.
to know what the superior Captain Marvel is saying
Well, now
about fake Captain Marvel.
we're all joking about that because it's just they changed the name, which they shouldn't have done. But this is the original Captain Marvel. This is we all know that whole if you're a comic book fan, you know this. It's a very old controversy, right? But of course, we have Chuck here is playing Shazam, and it looks fun, right? And what he's going on is the same thing you just said, which has no connection to what he thinks you're saying, right? What he's
Mhm.
doing here is, I'll just read it. There are people out there making a lot of really defamatory, and completely fictitious reviews and posts of Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, and trying to pit Shazam against it, saying they are going to support us and not them because of things they are, by the way, making up, things that they are saying they saw some screening and this, that, or the other is this movie. Well, first of all, no one's doing that, Mr. Levy. What people are
Mm.
doing is complaining about the nasty things she said, and they're saying they like your movie, and they're playing on the old controversy, saying, I'm going to go watch the original Captain Marvel, just like you just did, right? He basically what he's done is read fake news and believed it,
Mhm.
right?
Damn it, Zachary Livy. This is the competition. Go at him.
Yeah, but no, it's what
Saying
it
if you
is.
want a real Captain Marvel experience, go see Shazam.
He's white knighting, is what he's doing. But why don't you go ahead and read this little Twitter piece here, Booster?
Here's Zachary Levy asking fans to stop pitting. It looks like this is piting. It
No,
should
it's
be
pitting.
another
It's
T.
pitting.
Oh my god. To stop pitting Captain Marvel and Shazam against each other because it isn't helping anyone. He's also calling out the fake reviews and fabricated defamatory posts about Brie Larson. It's time for those people to really listen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Piss
No,
off.
he's just white knighting. And the funny thing about it is, if you go and watch, like I just mentioned to you, that it's for around 40% of the people that have responded to the poll on Rotten Tomatoes, saying whether they wish to see the movie. It's not a review, right? But so the amount of people who want to see this movie is around 40%. That's not a good thing, right? We saw the same thing happen with Solo, and that it flopped like crazy, right? And they lost a ton of money on that. That's what's happening. And they're talking about people saying that's reviews or using it as reviews. Well, I have seen that. I've seen a lot of websites talking about that 41% being a review number. It's not. And you know the sites that are doing that? They are sites like the Mary Sue and the Guardian. The leftists are the one that are saying that, not us. We over here are actually pointing out the point. No, hey, well, hold on a second. It's not a review. It's just the desire to see the movie percentage, guys. I've seen the quartering. I've
Mm.
seen many of us on our side of things trying to clear up that point. Hey, wait a minute. It's all the liberal progressive types that are the ones putting that up there. Mr. Levy. And he's just white knighting. He heard something, someone told him, he believed it without checking and researching it at all, and he's white knighting here to protect the woman. That's what he's doing. And you're an idiot. You should be up. What he should have done is come out and said something funny, saying, hey, I hope the Captain Marvel movie does really well, but hey, you know what? Come watch the real Captain Marvel or something like that.
I think it's hilarious how much importance they put onto Rotten Tomatoes, like the audience score. Why you care so much about the audience score? So this is the want to see score,
Yeah.
not their actual opinion. This is the
No.
want to see, right?
Mhm.
And it was at 50%, by the way, Chester. Did you know that? It was only at 50% until they started getting obsessive about it and saying how it's bad that people are, quote unquote, review bombing it.
Mhm.
Now it's at 32%.
Ooh, shoot. So last time I looked at it, it was like 41. But yeah, no, this is stupidity. And someone said he's friends with Brie Larson. Okay, well, if you're friends with Brie Larson, then tell her to shut up.
Be a friend. Dude, what the hell are you doing? You're murdering your own movie.
Yeah, I mean, all she has to do is shut up. And the thing is, they're saying, well, she only made the one statement. Nah. No, she's been saying stuff for years before she even became cast as Captain Marvel. This girl cannot shut her mouth. She thinks she knows something. She's better, and she's going to get up there and correct you, right? She don't need no white man telling her nothing. And no, I don't see any white men trying to tell her anything. But she just has this delusion in her head, right? And she keeps talking, and now it's built up beyond what it should be. It's fair to be. Let's be fair. This has gone beyond what she had said or insinuated. It has, but that's her own damn fault, right? And it has grown to the point that you have a lot of white dudes in America that think that Brie Larson says she don't want no white dude watching her movie. She never said that, but that's what it has grown to, and it's her own damn fault for a beginning like that. And that's why they came out with that interview yesterday, with that ridiculously silly interview where he was the one apologizing and trying to fix it. She said nothing but, yep, that's it. It's unbelievable.
Why are they so afraid to tell her to shut the hell up?
Well, because Marvel
She's a little
wants.
brat.
She is a little brat, but and that's in and of itself fine. But I think that Marvel wants this to be a pro-feminist movie. And what they're trying to do, and with their advertisement, is coming out on Women and International Women's Day, for goodness sake. This is planned, right? But the thing they're doing, the mistake they made was they think they were going to capitalize on it like they did Black Panther, because Black Panther became this big, Black people movement, Wakanda forever, type of thing, right? And
Wakanda forever.
yeah, and they didn't intend that. That movie wasn't necessarily built that way, but it became that, and good for them. Fine. That's congratulations, right? But they're trying to capitalize on that. It's the typical suits in the boardroom say, "Yeah, we can make a lot of money if we sell it to the women, because all the women would come out." And from all I understand, this movie is made for women and young girls. It's not for men. It seems to be what the reality is, and which is fine. But don't get mad when men aren't interested in putting their money toward it because you didn't make a movie for them, right? It's the same thing she said. I don't care what some 40-year-old man says about Wrinkle in Time because it wasn't made for you. Okay, well, don't expect to get my money. But the problem is they'll turn around and yell at you for not spending your money or not supporting them or not doing something. And the fact that you didn't do that out of the kindness of your heart makes you a sexist, racist, homophobe, whatever other kind of ism they want to throw at you. These people are slap out their mind, right? And get woke or broke, baby. That's what I say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, it just goes on and on and on. And you want to see some more of it? Let's see some more of it. Let's see some more stupidity, right? You want to see it
Oh,
more?
no.
Here we go. More stupidity for you. right? It continues, right?
Oh no! All right, let's do it. Let's
Empire
do it.
and original Iron Man actor Terrence Howard defends Jesse Smollett. What a hell of a name is that anyway? But now
Jesse. Oh
let me be
god.
fair. Let me be fair. Bounding into the comics, come on there. Who's this from? Is this from Trent? This is from Trent. Of course it is. Trent. Damn it. First of all, he's not defending anything. Let's read the the Twitter right here. Go ahead, dude. Do your best, Terrence Howard.
Oh, I don't know what he really sounds like. I could do a black guy.
Yeah, do a black guy. He doesn't sound
All
anything
right,
like
okay.
that, but do it anyway. Yeah.
All right. Oh, y'all little homies got you. We love the hell out of you.
He doesn't sound anything like that. He sounds like a white dude, actually. But
Oh no. Oh no. I'm really.
it's hilarious. But here's the thing. Um, uh, this is not defending him. This is supporting him. There's a very difference. Now, he must be a friend of his, and I get it. What he's done is unsupportable, but I get it. You're his friend. He's not defending him. He's supporting him. So Trent, damn clickbait, damn titles, man. But nevertheless, he is defending his buddy. Whatever. But the thing is, if you guys don't know this, I'll just go through it real quick. Let me see if they, I think they laid out right here. Empire and original Iron Man actor Terrence Howard took an Instagram to defend his fellow Empire actor Jesse Smollett. He didn't do that. Howard would post a video of Smollett with a young child. He would caption the video, "All you little homies got you." So, all right, let's take a look at the little video. Let's look at it. Let's see what it says.
How many teeth does he have?
He's got these two and these top ones pushing through now.
All right.
Oh, that's just precious.
Okay, so it's cute little kid. He's a cute. What does that mean? It doesn't change the fact that this dude went out, paid. Here we go. It comes right here. Smollett was arrested by Chicago police and charged with a felony disorderly conduct charge for filing a false police report. Jesse Smollett had claimed he was attacked by two men who yelled homophobic and racist slurs at him. He also claimed they shouted, "This is MAGA country," while dumping bleach on him and putting a noose around his neck. Now,
Yeah.
this is all made up. He paid
So
people to
funny.
literally beat him up. He poured bleach on himself. This is all proven. This dude is going to be, I don't know if he'll go to jail, but he'll certainly have a fine. He might even see some jail time, or probably probation, I would imagine.
He should. Faking hate crimes is ridiculous,
It is
and
ridiculous.
it's just damaging and it just further dividing what's already been very divided.
Yeah. And he's just trying to spread hate. This was all political. Now people saying he just wanted to get attention to make himself more popular, maybe. But I think this was politically motivated. It seems pretty obvious, especially with "This is MAGA country" in here. But the thing with it is, this dude is guilty. It's already done. That is a done thing. He's actually apologized. He even right here. "I'm sorry I've put you all through this and not answered any calls. I want to say I'm sorry, and you know me. I would never do this to any of you. You are my family. I swear to God I did not do this." But then as things come out, the events of the past few weeks have been incredibly emotional for all of us. Jesse has been an important member of our Empire family for the past 5 years. This is from the people he works with, the producers, I'm assuming. Was it the co-creator? Sorry. A family for the past 5 years, and we care about him deeply. While these allegations are very disturbing, we are placing our trust in the legal system as the process plays out. We are also aware of the effects of this process on the cast and crew members who work on our show, and to avoid further disruptions on the set, we have decided to remove the role of Jamal from the final 2 episodes of the season. Smollett
Oh my
maintains
god,
his
his character's
innocence.
name was Jamal.
Of course it was. Today we
Oh,
witnessed an organized law enforcement spectacle that has no place in the American legal system. Really? Did you? Well, I don't see anywhere in this article where it's basically he's apologizing for doing it, right? So that's the deal. He's supporting his buddy. He's not defending him, but he's not yelling and screaming. He's just saying, look, he's a nice guy. He's holding a kid. He's gay, but he likes kids anyway. Humans like kids. Who cares if he's gay, right?
All right, just I'm putting a video into FanSpeak. I think we should all watch together. It's only a minute long. I think you'd
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay. While you're doing that, let me catch up with the chat. Benedict says Marvel could use some more long shot, wide angled choreography and Asian style stunts. Sure. Dragon says, using a new keyboard. It doesn't feel as nice as my other keyboard. Oh, okay. I don't know. That's kind of off topic, but cool. Good for you, dude. By the way, Dragon is going to be on our show on Friday, actually. So that's kind of cool. Or we already did that. Actually, I think we did that. Marvel could use some more busty women. Yeah, no, you misogynist. La Wakanda forever. Yes, from Aaron. It must be so nice to act so poorly and be praised for it. Nick W says, her cold, vacant stare and stringy hair makes my heart flutter. Dragon says, it wasn't made for you. I made it to piss you off. Don't watch my movie, etc. Dennis says, Chester, Terrence trying to protect the mentally ill. Well, I think he's just defending his buddy. Kat says, lol, that voice. If that was for you, Booster. Risey Lee says, hey, Risey, by the way. How you doing, man? I'm glad to see you're upright. Going to the movies feels like work. I'm over the people and Hollywood, and it's all a waste of time and money. And I'm going to pass on pretty much everything this year. Yeah, well. Nick W says, I wonder what the check number was. Dennis Brock says, Chester, I'm waiting for the federal charges on mail fraud and sending the white powder to himself. George says, Chester, I agree with George. Again. Thank you, George. All right. Let me see. You put it in FanSpeak over here. Okay, I'm gonna click on it. All right, here we go. This better not be porn.
Oh my goodness, is that him? Are we? Do we have to go now? We have to go now.
Oh wait, they say the N-word in this. Should we maybe?
No.
Yes.
Reconsider?
No.
Yeah. Why do you
Doing around here?
Guys, come on. The accent. More white, more racist, hillbilly. KKK.
Okay. Hey, nigga, stop right there.
What are you doing in our town?
Aren't you that nigga from Empire?
Yes, I am. I'm the gay Tupac. What's good? What's good?
Nigga, what the hell you doing over here?
Get more
Look at
aggressive,
him
more
and-
aggressive.
Oh shit! Oh, bitch. Rope around his
Rope
neck.
around his neck.
Let me fight back a little bit. Let me fight back.
All right.
Oh,
Ow, that hurt, nigga. What the hell you doing? Lord, breathe on this nigga right
let me get the water.
Get that hurry, but
Hurry up.
please stop doing it, please.
This is MAGA
He
country
didn't
now,
even open
nigga.
it.
You don't belong here. We don't like.
We don't like your gay seagull ass over here. Don't you ever bring your ass around here, nigger boy, or we'll beat your ass again.
Please don't do it, please.
Hit him one last time to show we're serious. And run away so the cops don't see anything that we already did.
All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Why?
That's good. I don't know who this dude is, but that's funny, brother.
It is so
Why
funny.
me?
Yeah.
Why me?
He gets it, right?
What's that doing?
That's good. You got
That's
that
good.
Why
That's
me?
good, man.
No, you told me you were gonna be Venmo.
Venmo. I said Cash App.
Oh, I get the cash out
You
right
come
now.
Western Union me because I don't have my papers.
Because those guys said he hired her from Africa, right? That's funny. But that's cute, yeah. But anyway, this thing, of course, is blown up into, what it's blown up into, and it's it's all kind of silly. Now, George, you've been real quiet there over these past couple of, people being silly. Do you have any comments on it?
Yeah, whoever is going to write and do the movie on this, it's going to be comedy gold. It's going to win the best comedy of the year. This guy is so impossibly stupid. It just baffles the mind. I mean, he wrote a check. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And he didn't even use a burner phone.
No.
Holy smokes! And his emails, his text messages. I mean, it just baffles the mind. I mean, I don't know how Barack Obama and Kamala Harris can actually use this guy to such a degree, and without actually giving him a little coaching lesson. Hey, Gotti, this is what you're supposed to do. Look at any of the details. Look at Columbo. Play a game of Clue. Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Just look at the basics of what's going on. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
No, he's an idiot. And, but the thing is, this article is misleading. as we see many articles are, and this is bound in the comics. I understand it's not bleeding cool or anything like that, but this is a misleading title. Terrence Howard is not defending him; he's simply supporting his buddy, and I don't have a problem with that. His cast member, even, fellow cast member. So I don't have any problem with Terrence. He's just defending his brother, his brother, and that's fine. But yeah, Smollett is an idiot. Yep. But the thing is, we see this happen all the time, right? And they often get away with it, right? And one of the things with the areas we see people get away with it a lot, and they get zero punishment because this guy will get some punishment off of this. It's too big for him not to get some. But we see things with false rape accusations from women all the time that then they get found out, found guilty, proven guilty 100%. Not a single thing happens to them. No fine, no prison time, no nothing. They get off constantly for that, and that'll ruin a life, right? This kind of thing happens all the time, and it's not right. It's not good. They should punish these people a lot harder than they do, because he's trying to ruin people's lives just for his own benefit or his own politic, whatever.
No, actually, it's a little more insidious than that. It looks like his goal was to divide the country.
No, well, of course, I understand it was political. Yeah, but the thing is, that's another thing with the FBI. They have gone ahead and made Antifa an official terrorist group, as they should, because Antifa, Black Bloc, all that stuff, they are terrorists, right? But they have come short. They have denounced Black Lives Matter, but they haven't actually made them a terrorist group. They should, because they're terrorists as well, right? And just like any other group that does terrorism and calls to the death of people and gets it, right? So it's and I don't know if he's necessarily attached to Black Lives Matter, but this is certainly something that Black Lives Matter would have run with like mad, right? And you would have got Jesse Jackson up there and the NAACP and Al Sharpton. Oh my God, can't we just get along? Whatever. It's nonsense.
Oh, that's just precious.
Yes, Nick, you are right. Professor Plum in the conservatory with the wrench. All right. Now let me come over here to our last bit of news we have for today. It's not news, but on Sunday we usually do comic reviews of things we're reading, and of course we talked about one comic from George, of course, his Joe King, which hopefully you guys will go and check that out. But we do have two ones here now. Booster, you asked me to put Squadron Supreme up, which
I did.
I really enjoyed those books myself. But why don't you tell us about your enjoyment of these books?
So yeah, I picked up the one from the 80s, the original 1985 run of the Squadron Supreme, and this is a series of stories that was deconstructing heroes before it was cool.
Yeah.
Essentially, I think you could probably put it down as the first book to really get into what being a hero is, before Watchmen, even. A year before Watchmen. Not before Watchmen, that was awful. I just mean Watchmen.
Okay. I get you. Now this cover I chose, I just like the cover with Nighthawks here fighting. But this, of course, is from 2016.
Pretty
this
badass.
is not the original one, yeah.
Is that James Robinson that wrote this?
Let me see. Yes, it is. Robinson,
Oh,
Kirk,
is that
Villaneva, what? I can't see it. It's too small. But it is.
I wonder if that's any good, but
I don't know.
I am absolutely loving Squadron Supreme, and there are a lot of things you can compare it to Watchmen for as well, but Squadron Supreme is definitely a bit more dated. It's very much a product of its time as well. They use a lot of words and a lot of thought bubbles. I feel Watchmen is far more timeless.
It is, but I like Squadron too.
But
of course,
Squadron Supreme, it's an excellent story.
Well, in the Squadron Supreme, you also can see Hyperion. You can see Miss Marvel, Nighthawk here, plus many other characters. It is a good book. Have you ever read Squadron Supreme, George?
Yes, I'm a big fan of the original content, not the new stuff. But I also enjoy the book that was redone. I think it was with Peter David, or no, the guy who wrote Babylon 5, the creator of Babylon 5.
Oh,
he
really?
did an entire run of Squadron Supreme, and I forgot what the name of the book was. Was it Supreme itself? It was really well written. It was a long, drawn out series in the mid 2000s, I believe it was.
I think that
Mm-hmm.
was one that was featuring Hyperion and Ms. Marvel, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just very interesting to see heroes kind of dabble with fascism, right? Like true fascism, but it's done in a way that it's very hard to argue against, but you know it's wrong, right? You know what parts I'm talking about, Chester?
There is some controversial stuff, I guess. Which ones bother you?
But particularly the brainwashing machine, right?
Okay.
I would say it's very hard to argue against, right? Like it's just reforming villains and such, and obviously it's used wrong as well, like in the case of Archer.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, they're reforming villains, right? But it's still robbing them. It's hard, man. It's a really interesting read. It feels like it's done a way we could kind of argue for any side of this of what these heroes do.
Sure. Well,
It's not presented in a this is right or wrong kind of way. It gives you all the possible angles.
Yeah, but hold on a sec. The brainwashing machine is no different than the television.
Okay, fine. And of course, we could get into Suicide Squad, which put bombs in their neck to make them do what they want to do. So you have less trouble with that than you do the actual just changing their mind.
True, Chester, true. But then we know that Amanda Waller and all those other people are also horrible people, Chester.
She is evil. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
But
they're not
that
presented as heroes. Yeah.
but that particular run that had Hyperion and Ms. Marvel were kind of the main characters that were at that time. I think it's the Babylon 5 one you were talking about, George. I know my daughter actually read that because she's a Ms. Marvel fan, and she loved it. She loved that run. So she probably knows more about Squadron Supreme than I do, actually. But nevertheless, I think it's a good book, though. And if you haven't read it, you should. I see here that what Nick W says that read Squadron Supreme, then Kingdom Come. I don't know if he's being joking or not, but because we know that book gets a lot of hate because of Mark Waid's silliness. But the simple fact of the matter is that is a fully painted book by Alex Ross. It is
It's a gorgeous book.
legendary art. All right, so
It
if
is.
you don't own it, go buy it. And the story's not bad either. The thing is with Mark Waid, yes, he's an annoying little tantrum throwing baby. He is, but he's also talented. Now, not everything he
Yes.
writes is good, but the dude is talented. Kingdom Come is a great book. It's probably one of my favorite comics of all time. But nevertheless,
Another thing I found interesting about Squadron Supreme is that every character is a very clear ripoff of a Justice League character,
Yeah.
but they also still hold up all on their own. Each character's with their own struggles, personalities, and goals, right?
I like Nighthawk quite a bit, actually.
Yeah,
I enjoy that
He's
character.
obviously a Batman ripoff, but he's still holds up as his own character. Yeah.
I kind of wonder when they
Same with
did that
Hyperion.
later series, when they had the alternate Earth Justice League where they're all villains, where Batman was the Owl. I think they call him Night Owl or something like that. I'm kind of wondering if that was like some kind of joke to the Nighthawk.
Oh, no. Night Owls existed since like the 60s or 70s.
Are you sure? Okay, I didn't know that. I just felt so. But
Or Owlman.
Owlman, or whatever they called it. Yeah. Squadron Supreme is an archetype for modern DC books. Nick says. That's interesting. He also says, Chester, Mark Waid borrowed numerous plot points from Squadron Supreme for Kingdom Come. Well, that's fair.
Really?
That's fair. Yeah.
Hmm.
They all borrow from each other. I just was saying
Yeah,
that the Kingdom Come is worth reading, even though Mark Waid has made a complete ass of himself recently. That's all I was trying to do. But anyway, Squadron Supreme, everyone here agrees. Good. Yes?
Very, very good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, go buy it and read it if you haven't. It really is good. Now, I heard another voice. Has someone else popped in here? Someone else did pop in. Who do I got with me?
No.
No,
You're
it's
crazy,
just me.
Chester.
It's just me. I'm crazy.
You're a crazy man.
I know sometimes. Now, my offer for today, and our last thing we're going to do today, is Astro City. Now, I just chose this cover randomly because I thought it was kind of cool. But Astro City is a really interesting book. It has a lot of covers from Alex Ross. I think all the covers are Alex Ross actually, but the interior arts are done by different people usually, and of course, but this is Kurt Busiek's book. And Astro City is wonderful. I love it. This is basically a love letter to the golden age of comic books, is what it is. And they have their own city here, Astro City, and they have a lot of characters that are parodies of things. And there's so many stories. This is not a one long, story arc that's going on. This is many different stories told, and there's an arc of sorts, but it's basically just kind of looking at the trope of a character, meaning the Batman character, the Superman character, the trope that it is. And for me, my favorite Astro City book story of all time was with the Samaritan, and the book starts out and he's dreaming, and he wakes up, and the thing he's dreaming about is flying. And the reason he's dreaming of flying because he flies, because he's Superman, right? He flies at incredible speeds, but all day he is literally counting the amount of seconds or minutes in between each mission or that he's doing to rescue something that's going on in the world. So his whole day is spent flying here or there, but he's moving at incredible speeds to get things done. He's just ridiculously busy, right? So he actually dreams of flying because he never gets time to enjoy it. And I just thought that was a wonderful little story. I really liked it. But there's a lot of good stories in here, actually. And I love Astro City. Have you guys read that?
Yes,
I'm afraid I've never touched it.
How about you, George?
Very simply, yes. And the story that you just mentioned, yes, it's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. Now sometimes the art is better than other times. The covers are always killer. They're Alex Ross covers, so just ridiculously good covers. But the interior art isn't necessarily up to the same snuff, unfortunately. Sometimes they're pretty bad, but the stories are really solid. The characters are developed well. So if you haven't read Astro City, I suggest you go check it out. It's a really fun book, and like I said, it's a love letter to the golden age, is what it is. And go and enjoy it. It's and they got a whole bunch of them. This has been going on for quite a while. Let me see over here real quick in the chat. Valen says Squadron Sinister has been around since '69. So alternate JL would be ripoff of that. Interesting. Nick W says Astro City is a great series. I stopped reading after Abusing went off the deep end. Okay, well that's true. Nick W says my favorite story is Confession. Oh, interesting. It's really good though. You guys should go check it out. Yeah, no, I get you, Vale. The interior art can go from okay to bad. I mean, to be fair, it's true, and it's the major hurting point, especially when you have Alex Ross doing these just stunning covers. I mean, kind of like the one next to it here, just beautiful covers. And the interior, sometimes you open it up, it's really bad. It's not good. That's an unfortunate thing, but it's written really well, guys. It's a really good book. So, I suggest you go check it out. Nevertheless, let me come over here. Let us go back to our. No, not that one. Sorry. Come back over to here.
I'm sorry. I get giggles.
One last enjoyment. Yay. Okay, and then over here, back again. Thanks, guys, for coming and joining us on this Sunday and spending some time with us. We appreciate that. Once again, here is Joe King on Indiegogo. You can find that through Indicron easier, actually. And this is George's book, and go over there and check it out and see if it's something interesting for you. It is a book intended for kids, but with plenty of humor and concept in there for the adults to enjoy it as well. Would you like to add anything to that before we get out of here, George?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I would like to point out that every tier, every perk, from the smallest one to the highest one, includes original art insert. Not a small postcard art. We're talking about full page, comic book size, original art sketch. Every tier, every book ordered gets an original piece of art included.
All right.
Mhm.
Alrighty then. So let me go over here and take this off. Come back to the Hangouts. All right. So George, give them your contact points other than the Indiegogo, which of course Booster has put up in the chat before, and I think you'll probably put it up one more time here for you.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, George.
GeorgePeterGatsis.com. That's where everything Georginess is. It's you'll be able to go to the YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, I've never really pushed this much. I created a 40-minute animated Joe King cartoon.
Oh, you did?
Oh.
It's on my YouTube channel.
Oh, sweet. All right. He just put that up there so people can go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, interesting. Now, thank you guys very much for joining us today, as I said, and we this coming up this week we have, of course, Bugbear's Basement. I'm not sure what we're going to do in Bugbear's Basement, but maybe we'll do another board game or something, or maybe we'll come up with something different. We do have scheduled stuff for FanSpeak and guests that are going to be coming out for that, of course, and we have the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered, of course, will be on Thursday. I'm pretty sure that this coming week it's going to be on John Dillard's channel because once a month we do like to move that over to share amongst the community. So I think we'll be on John Dillard's channel this week. But nevertheless, we will keep you informed and tell you everything that needs to do. So as we get ourselves out of here today, let us have our moment of wisdom from the oily bird. Go ahead, dude.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Words are like cabbage.
Okay. Words are like cabbage. Take that with you throughout the day and make it a better day for yourself because Booster has given you wisdom. All right, guys.
Namaste.
Namaste. All right. Thank you very much. Later, guys.
Bye.